at the Brain Performance Center. About a third of the people that come to the center come because they've either been told they have ADHD or they think they do. And a lot of times, ADHD is diagnosed throughout your life. Sometimes it's diagnosed in those early childhood years when the child can't sit still, is very impulsive, is noisy, is demanding. It's the hyperactivity and the conflict-driven behavior that gets everybody's attention real quick. This is the predominantly hyperactive impulsive type. Then there's the inattentive type. And this type these people will have trouble focusing. They get easily distracted. They're disorganized. They lose things. They forget things. They can't stay on task. They don't follow through. They may have a hard time listening when somebody is talking to them. They make careless mistakes. This is the inattentive type. And oftentimes, these people will complain of being bored. Then there's the third type. And the third type is a combination. And I have seen so many different behaviors manifest out of that combination. Sometimes it's excessive worry or getting stuck in those negative thought patterns, those negative loops that just go round and round and round. A lot of times they're lacking mental flexibility. For that person, it may be my way or the highway. And they have to have things done exactly the same way every single time. Sometimes they can present with low energy, irritability, just downright grumpiness. And if the brain, sometimes it depends on what the brain has going on. If the brain has too much fast wave, maybe they present more with explosive anger behavior. 15 years ago, if you came to me and you said ADHD, I immediately would say too much slow wave frontal lobes. But now we know so much more. And we look at the brain with such a broader perspective. We look at the networks and the hubs in the brain. It's all about what's going on in the brain. The front of your brain is your executive center, but the back of your brain is where you process information. And if you can't process it, you sure can't pay attention to it. There are three things that we look at to determine what we need to do to help that brain. We do an EEG, a computerized brainwave analysis. We put a cap on your head and we record about 20 minutes worth of data. And that lets us look at the power in the brain. Does the brain have the right amount of fast wave, the right amount of slow wave? It lets us look at coherence. And coherence is how the brain shares information. And it doesn't matter if it's oversharing or undersharing. It's dysregulated. And then we look at phase. And phase is the timing in the brain. And if you've ever had someone come up to you, excuse me, but I just have to tell you this. If the timing is too fast in the brain, they probably do. So here's some facts I'd like to share with you about ADHD. One, not everybody with ADHD is hyperactive. We talked about the inattentive type, and sometimes those people can be looked over and be labeled as lazy or unmotivated, or just not that smart. But ADHD is a brain issue. It is how the neurons and dendrites are wiring and firing, and how they produce a right amount of energy that fuels the brain. Sleep and diet are the infrastructure that the brain runs off of. How and what you eat can certainly make a difference. Another fact is stimulant medication doesn't help everyone. I am not licensed to manage medication, but I do believe, in my opinion, prescription medicine should not be the first or the only thing that you do to treat a brain health issue. A lot of people that have ADHD, they have emotional dysregulation. They may have some depression going on. If you have to work 2 to 3 times as hard as someone else and you don't get the same results, it is depressing. Or if you have excessive worry, if you're always worried about the outcome or your performance, that can create anxiety. The good news is that there are things that you can do to help manage ADHD. Neurofeedback and neuromodulation, giving that brain what it needs, teaching that brain how to get and stay in a regulated state can make a huge difference in how you focus and how you complete your tasks and just how you view your ability to. One of the first things that we'll see when we do neurofeedback is we'll see some increased self-confidence. And when your self-confidence goes up, everything gets better. If we can help you to understand why your brain may not be performing the way that you want it to, or what is causing that, please give us a call. I am happy to spend 30 minutes with you over the phone or in person to help you understand what's going on in your brain. I always say, turn your brain on to get your game on, because that's the name of my book.